Welcome back to The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky the Third. We completed the Golden Road last time and faced off against a doppelganger of Reese, and this time, Reese was an imposter. One imposter remains. I've stripped everyone's inventories and quartz, and they're going to be going to the second team once we move through here, except there is a slight problem in my original strategy. Yeah. When I stripped everyone's equipment and quartz, I forgot that both teams have one forced fight before they have access to the menu. So, I'm gonna have to do this fight without arts. We've got company. And minimal CP. However, I discovered something. Who needs arts when you have food? I think it's time to finally show off how amazing these can be. I know that this is probably not the best use of them, but I want to kind of show this. So, I don't have information on this party, so I don't exactly know what these things are yet, but if I do this... Yeah, hi there, more than S-craft damage. Now, I think that can inflict instant death if you're too close to it at the time that it does that, but... Yeah, anyway, let's go, Septium bullets, I guess? That did even more damage, wow. And you'll go for, why not more Septium bullets? And Petrify, because why not? Okay, let's just use, what's the... Okay, yeah, Septium Drops is the worst attack food I have. And it still does 1,000 damage, which is probably more than Josette would be doing with her normal actions. I believe these things can actually petrify you with their attacks, so this is kind of ironic. And, okay, nice timing. Reese has a new craft. What were those things? They looked like reapers you'd find in a fairy tale. I felt the same way. The devils we've encountered shouldn't be able to exist, but in a different sense, neither should those fiends. This definitely isn't going to be easy. And that's all we get, because, yeah, we've kind of got generic dialogue at this point. So, I'm going to go ahead and equip everybody. Also, for some reason, that's bugged and shows Kevin for a second, but yeah, now it's Reese. I'm going to go ahead and equip everybody, and I'll see you back here after that. Okay, so with that all out of the way, in terms of status, here's what I've got on most of the team. I'll go over Chloe in a bit. I've done something kind of dumb with Josette. I've given her the Tiger Heart just because I kind of want her to have some kind of weird niche here, and I guess having kind of okay strength is gonna be, like, yeah, the best I've got here. But I do also have Earth Wall on her. Joshua has a fairly standard Joshua setup, I feel. I have Strike on him, though, instead of something like Blind or Death Blow. He still has Clock Up EX and Clock Down. Reese has a setup that's given her Earth Wall, which is kind of nice. And Chloe. So, finally, we get to go over Chloe. Chloe, as you can probably tell from her stats, in fact, they're going to get even better if I switch over to the Akashic Heart. Chloe is pretty much a pure caster. She is the first pure caster that we've really got. And her ATS is one of the highest in the game, aided even more by the fact that a lot of female exclusive armor gives very, very good increases to ATS. So, she hits insanely hard. She's a little slow for a caster, but overall still pretty solid, and she has some alright crafts as well, but her S crafts are really where it's at. I'll talk about those in a bit. Her crafts themselves have, just like SC, been nerfed from the terror they were in FC. In terms of her orbment, this is where Chloe's biggest weakness lies. The good news is she has one entire line, which means that, every single element she has will count towards the same line, so she can get access to a lot of arts. The downside is that she has 3 restricted water slots, which can limit the amount of art setups you can run on her. It sort of skews her towards healing, because water arts aren't great offensively in the 3rd, and they don't have a lot of good area attacks on them. This is the best area I've got, and it's a pretty small one. However, there are a lot of much stronger quartz in the 3rd that give a lot of elements for only 1 quartz. We won't be seeing many of them now, but later on we'll be getting some ridiculous ones. So with them, you can actually quite easily fit better art setups onto Chloe. So her restricted slots aren't as much of a drawback as they were in the earlier Sky games. And another asset that Chloe has that's also a huge buff from the earlier Sky games is her S-Crafts. So Chloe has a choice of 2 S-Crafts. Lichtkreis 2, which as you can see there, it heals in a large area, also cures KO but doesn't actually heal the full 12,000 HP if it does that. And if she has 200 CP, it also buffs defense by 50%, so quite a good panic button. But she also has this, Sanctus Nova, an offensive S-Craft rather than a healing and support one. And Sanctus Nova has a very, very unique element to it. In fact, okay, while I'm still facing regular enemies and not bosses, and thus my setup isn't hugely as important, I'm going to actually put detection on so I can see where the chests are on the map. Yeah, there we go, that's better. But yeah, I'm going to walk and talk here because Chloe's S-Craft. Firstly, Tyrrell Balm. Give me blood. It just reminds me of all of those channeler lines in the original Pokemon Red and Blue, which I always, it's kind of weird. A lot of people found them nightmare fuel as kids. I honestly just find them more silly than anything. I hated the Pokemon Tower music. That always used to scare me. Not Lavender Town's music. I was totally fine with Lavender Town's music, but Pokemon Tower's music just terrified me. But like the actual, like the channelers there, it was mostly because, oh, I don't have information on either, I'm gonna need to fix that too, but it was mostly because I just, I could never really take the channelers seriously. I didn't know what a channeler was when I was that young, so I know I've told this story before, but basically I just thought that channeler meant crazy old lady. Because that's how I always saw the trainers in Pokemon Tower. Just a bunch of crazy old ladies. But yeah, here's Diamond Dust. It's really the best water area attack we have, and it's not a pretty wide area. But anyway, what I was saying, so about Chloe and Sanctus Nova. In Sky SC, Sanctus Nova worked the same way all other S-Crafts did, and because of that, it ran off of, I guess I can put information on Joshua for now. I don't really need a huge amount of arts on him at the moment. It worked the same way as all other crafts, and so ran off of Chloe's strength stat, making it pretty useless to her. In Sky the Third, this has changed. Sanctus Nova now does damage based on Chloe's ATS stat and the enemy's art defense, which makes it by far one of the most devastating S-Crafts in the game. Like, no, seriously, because most enemies, except for these stupid fairies, have lower art defense than regular defense, Sanctus Nova will be typically hitting on their weaker defensive stat, and that equates to enormous amounts of damage. Something that I haven't actually mentioned yet in this playthrough, I mentioned it back in FC and SC, is that the damage from S-Crafts uses its own formula, and it factors your level into the calculation. The main takeaway from that is that no matter, like, where you are in the game, your S-Crafts will always be strong. Although eventually we'll learn even better S-Crafts that, like, are even stronger than our current ones. But Sanctus Nova, I don't actually think Chloe ever learns a better version of that, and honestly, she doesn't need to. Sanctus Nova is that insane, and Sanctus Nova is actually why Chloe is a common pick for Kevin's party for Chapter 3. Gaia Greaves, 34 of 36. That was quite unfortunate for the son. A single glance at her curious, simple smile, and he knew he he would cave to whatever she said. Doubly unfortunate, since he also knew who she would side with. What do the Gaia Greaves do? Oh, I got 2 of these, one from the earlier chest. Increasing agility and movement, which isn't bad. I guess we can go for that on my 2 sort of physical attackers. Oh yes, we fought this thing before, but not with information on, so let's see what it says here. Vargem. Guide to the Underworld hums a gloomy song which causes death in all who hear it. So yeah, kind of want to kill these things from a distance. Oh, I haven't actually shown this, speaking of killing things from a distance. Thousand Sparrows. This is an area effect that is centered on Reese, so it's a little situational depending on where she is. It does look pretty cool though, but its power is pretty weak for this point in the game. It reminds me a lot of Estelle's Hurricane from Sky FC, where it's got a good area on it, but it has pretty pathetic power. In fact, Hurricane I think actually had worse power than a standard attack. Oh yeah, so that actually did catch us in the area. That's not good. Oh, speaking of not good, I had a feeling I'd knock you out of range if I did that. Yeah, you can see, like, from how much damage Chloe's arts are doing here, why her having an S-craft that scales off of ATS is amazing. And, it actually gets even more amazing, but, let me just, talk about these chests first. Castle Castella. This empty chest was brought to you by... you. Miso Fish. You took all that I had to give. Happy now? HP 3. 13 of 36. Despite first impressions, it was as much a shop as any other along the same street. A shop was still a shop, even after it was no longer full to bursting with wealthy customers. Or any customers, really. Sanctus Nova. Even though it scales its damage based off of ATS, it is still considered a craft for the game's purposes. So, yeah, basically, it's a physical attack that does magical damage, and that can help because in that last boss fight, those mirror enemies that we fought, the ones that reflect arts, so they have 0 arts defense because the developers clearly thought, okay, they don't need arts defense because they're immune to all arts anyway. Or so they thought. The thing is that because Sanctus Nova is technically considered a craft and not an art, it will actually bypass their reflection and will do damage, and because they have 0 arts defense, that ability is guaranteed to one-shot those mirrors. Wow, okay, Chloe's actually burning through her, even with, I think I do actually have EP cut 3 on her, and she's burning through her, EP pretty fast still. Chloe is actually somebody who you might want to consider at this point in the game opening up ornament slots on. I know I'm not really doing a whole lot of that at this point, but people like Chloe, like dedicated casters, really benefit from it, especially since their EP pool gets completely insane once their ornament's fully upgraded. Reviving Balm. Enforcer number XX, the empty chest. That Arcana would correspond to Aeon, wouldn't it? I'm pretty sure it's Aeon. But yeah, Aeon, yeah, most of the usage of the Aeon Arcana is pretty much entirely a Persona thing. It's from a pretty obscure deck. Then they had to rely on even more obscure decks later. Oh yeah, this is Evil Eye EX, by the way. The funny thing about Evil Eye EX is that you might want to use it while you still can, because eventually it upgrades to an even better version, I think Supreme Evil Eye. And even though it's stronger, the weird thing is that Supreme Evil Eye actually has more delay than Evil Eye EX does. Sting Edges. 31 of 36, or so he believed. There was a pause in noise after the question was raised, and seconds later they both heard the flat-footed thumping of their daughter's steps coming towards them. Did you call me, Mom? Okay, so I'm guessing this is another one of those chests that changes. This is going to lower his dex and agility a little bit, but, I mean, yeah, nobody really cares about those stats in this game, and even with the Tiger Heart, Josette is getting outclassed in strength by somebody who does not have the Tiger Heart, and still, 1,300 strength with Tiger Heart is pretty bad, all things considered. Okay, we got a new weapon that actually does quite a lot. Oh, I haven't mentioned this yet, but Chloe is voiced by Christina V, who I mainly know for almost voicing Edelgard in Fire Emblem Three Houses. She was the voice of her in the first trailer, and then they decided to go with Tara Platt for some reason. I'm kind of in the camp that I wish they'd still gone with her, because it would have been very much a play against type role for Christina V, but oh well, it is what it is. It's just Tara Platt plays that kind of character so often. She often plays, you know, really strong, confident female warriors, so I just kind of feel like, okay then. Don't be in range of its death scream, please. Oh, we all were in range of that, wow. But yeah, anyway, that's all I'll say on that. Here we have... Bring to me the darling of pure white radiance and proof of her scholarship. Only then shall the door open. We actually have the character we need for this door, but we don't have the proof of her scholarship, so we're gonna need to come back here once we get that, which is gonna be fairly soon, and here's the thing about that door, though. If you thought Moon Door 1 was long, and that was only half of it, oh boy. Moon Door 3 is, in my opinion, the longest door in the game. It is practically a movie. In fact, it may be even longer than most movies. So, yeah, get ready for that, because I'm probably going to have to do that one in multiple parts. And also, that door is part of the reason why I want to use the Evo Japanese voice patch for the doors, because my voice would be dead if I read every line of dialogue in that door. Silver earring. If you're looking for gold, you'll find not one... Graham! See, that's a pun that doesn't work in my accent or dialect, because here's the thing that I found. I found that in an American accent, that name is pronounced like Graham, but I pronounce it Graham, so it's just, I don't know, it's just something that's interesting to me. Skull pendant. Did you know? Arteria supposedly comes from the English word artery. So yeah, I guess it's like, I mean, it's the sort of the heart of the church in this world, so I suppose that makes sense. And here we have, yeah, yet another fairly short area, just with a few huge rooms here. Haven't even got a chance to show off Sanctus Nova. Yeah, okay, that wasn't a preemptive for some reason. I really thought that would be one. Okay, that poisons. And that's bad, because Joshua will take damage if he takes any action. So he needs to, don't want to waste Terror Bomb on that. I suppose I can get one of these recipes in the log. I suppose the one that cures Petrify. Yeah, the Castella just makes me think of, that one, Rakugo case in Ace Attorney. There's a good reason for that, but it takes quite a lot of explaining. Speaking of explaining, so this thing right here, okay, this does at least drop strength by 20% and defense by 30% now, which is still better than it was in SC when it got nerfed horribly, but, oh, I kind of want to do it on a critical turn. I just hope I can get this in fast enough. There we go! That wasn't even 200 CP, by the way. That probably would have done, like, over 10,000 if she had 200 CP. Just, yeah, Sanctus Nova is kind of insane. And, like, again, I'm pretty sure she never gets an upgraded version of it, and she doesn't need one. Oh, yeah, what I was saying about the Rakugo and the Castella, it's a long story that kind of requires you to have read the Capcom localization blog, but... Basically, there's like a Rakugo story where they use this term like liquefied Castella, which is, it's what they call that kind of cake in Japan. I can show the image of it if I go into the recipe book after this fight, but It's a kind of cake that's very popular in Japan because I think it was introduced by the Portuguese. There's a lot of Western food that comes from Portugal. Yeah, see this thing right here, like this kind of cake. You'll often see it, I find, in Asian bakeries and things like that. But it was introduced to Japan by the Portuguese, and you again? At least Phantom Thief V is a Jedi. I'd highly debate that, considering what he was kind of implied to be trying to do to Chloe in the last game. But yeah, this Rakugo story used liquefied Castella as a euphemism for alcohol, and it ended up making one of the puzzles in that case a lot harder for Japanese speakers than it probably should have been. 8 of 12. But that would never have happened. Hideko would never have denied Sato back then. See, she didn't have much money in those days, yet she paid cash for the machine. What machine, I wonder? Sylvan. What? This seems familiar somehow. Is something wrong, Reese? Not at all. I thought I may have seen this weapon somewhere before, but it must have been my imagination. It certainly seems like a capable one, though, so I think I'll use it all the same. So this chest quote makes me think they mixed up the order of the two chests and thought that this one was Kevin's, because this would have made more sense on Kevin's Golden Road. Here's a crossbow for a crossbro! I don't actually have a crossbow for you, father. Sorry. But yeah, see, Kevin's not actually here. I think you can take Kevin back through here after you've completed the chapter, though. And also, I'll just say, I'm pretty sure that I was actually wrong about where the iron bow comes from and whose weapon it used to be, but we'll get to that later. Stinger M, 4 of 36. It is yet to be spoken of in legend, for its mother was a modest carpenter who carved it with no other purpose than to hold a confession. It was never meant for a grand display, but for a quiet, sincere love. Okay, so yeah, that's explaining what the purpose of that chest was. So, yeah, Stinger M, even then, I was hoping you'd have more strength than that with the Tiger Heart. I feel like I'm probably going to have to give the Tiger Heart to somebody not Josette. Okay, she almost has 200 CP though, speaking of which, I'm going to swap the Solar Seal over to somebody else. Because I really want my CP to be recharged before the boss of this area. Reviving Balm, an empty coffer, devoid of any treasure. Go seek another. Yeah, they actually came up with quite a few of those haikus. And let's activate this. That is the last stone monument for this area. Not that we can actually use any of them right now. But now is a good time to synthesize some quartz, and as I was saying, I might actually open some slots for Chloe. Oh yeah, these are very expensive though in terms of water seepeth, though I do have a lot of that right now. Although before I open more slots, I'm definitely going to synthesize another Action 3. Guess I can grab Deathblow 1 as well. I think Joshua would also benefit from some upgraded slots. And I'm kind of out of Seepeth for upgrades, but, yeah, look how much EP Chloe's missing right now. That practically doubled her EP pool. Eventually we'll be getting quartz that require level 3 slots to install, but they don't come until much later. But yeah, for now, yeah, 558 EP is definitely going to be more, going to make Chloe a lot more useful. Not that she already wasn't already. Okay, Josette levels up. That's going to help a bit. Oh, Slime Lump. Okay. And I just realized I forgot to set a remote ability. That is just something that I keep doing. It's always a problem of mine. Oh, that's why I hate, really hate guard turns. Just want to do one more fight because Reese was very close to a level up. And we're bunching up in the corner again. The boss that's coming up. This boss is often considered one of the hardest in the game. And this, while I don't really have as much problem on repeat playthroughs as I used to, although now that I say that I'd probably jinx myself, it did wreck me a lot the first time I played, and that's true for most players, so definitely make sure you're prepared for this fight. I won't need Haze for a boss fight. I could get La Crest on Josette, which is kind of okay. You have Earth Wall, Josette has Earth Wall, Josh was the only one here with Clock Down, which is a little unfortunate. Oh, yeah, that's why, yeah, I needed EP Cut 3 on Josette in order to get Earth Wall on her. I'm gonna go with some Skull Pendants just for safety on certain people, because I think these enemies do have an instant death attack. And I'm actually not going to forget my remote ability this time, especially since I can use Mueller's. Oh, by the way, here's Kevin's remote ability. Battle CP recovery plus 2%, Arts defense plus 30%. Overall, not a very useful one, but because Kevin's in your party for almost the entire game, you almost never get to see this. So it doesn't matter that this ability is not that great. Because yes, we have Mueller's, and Mueller's is ridiculous. I think we're ready. It's going to be time to head out into a fight that, yeah, a lot of people dread. Just triple checking that I do actually have my support set this time. Oh. Do you think that could be the exit? It certainly seems to be. I wonder if Kevin and his group are on the other side already. Heh, it looks like they're not going to let us reach it without a fight. What? Kevin? He's got a lot of helpers this time. Kevin! And so, it was Kevimort and the Deff Sluggers, as I like to say. Yeah, these things here are Deff Sluggers, but we also have Kevin, and we're about to find out just how bad this is going to be, although I do have 2 crit turns in a row, which, if I S-break on those, I might be able to cheese this a little bit. But yeah, the Death Sluggers are actually quite dangerous. There's 5 of them. They all hit pretty hard too, and they're also a little bit tough to take down for reasons that will become apparent in a moment. Actually, I have those Fried Phoenixes. I can use that to buff Joshua's... Actually, I kind of want to show off the Bobcat on his critical turn. Okay, and I need to swipe this before Kevin's turn, and you might already have figured out why. So Aircraft does hit the entire field, which, is at least a niche that she does have. In fact, in the Evo version, I've heard that it not only does that, it also debuffs the defense of everything that it hits. And that actually, like, in the Evo version, they apparently made Josette more of a sort of a saboteur, debuffer slash support character. Okay, Kevin's already in phase 2. But now these tanks are going to slowly, inexorably advance towards us. How much damage did I get? Yeah, I got quite a lot of damage in on them already. If I end up making this too easy, I might actually have to reset this battle and try and show it off a bit more, because it's definitely a fight that I find can be very, very tricky. This, again, kicked my butt pretty badly in my first playthrough. Should you... Oh, wait, no, only Joshua has clocked down. I just remembered that. But I could clock up EX somebody else. I guess you can mutually clock up each other. Now, is Fake Kevin going to do what I think he's going to do? So he can do that, but he does have something else that he can do, and you probably already know what it is. So this attack right here, Hellish 4 shots. From the name, you'd think that it hits 4 times, and from what I've heard, in the original Japanese PSP version of this game, it actually did hit 4 times, and it was way too excessive in terms of damage. And some people think it was a bug that it hit that many times, but I personally think it was intentional, because with a name like Hellish 4 Shots and its animation and the sound effect that it makes especially, make it clear that it's supposed to be a multi-hit attack. So yeah, pretty sure that that was the intended behavior, and they nerfed it in the English version because it was a bit too much. Okay, I do have clock down, so I can... Yeah, the thing about these things is that they're deceptively hard to hit with area attacks, because even though they kind of have big hitboxes, they sort of get in each other's way a lot, if that makes any sense. But here I have managed to catch a few of them in clock down. Of course, getting in each other's way can actually be helpful sometimes, when they get stuck on each other. But yeah, even though we did a huge chunk of damage to them with our S-Crafts, we're still kind of in danger here. There's just so many enemies here. And also, you know, Kevin can do something, let's just say, to make the multitude of enemies even worse. Of course, hitting these guys with area attacks is a little bit hard when, oh, I can get 4 of them in that, when your area attacks are quite small. Who wants to get Holy Blessing? I think I'll go for Josette here. Of course, Reese probably needs the healing the most, but she's, yeah, her main weakness is that she can't really heal herself with Holy Blessing. And these things are weak to time as well, so, right now, time arts don't really have a huge amount of power on them, so that can also be a problem. This might finish them, but Joshua's been doing pretty badly with the arts lately. No, it actually did get rid of them, I think. No, one of them is still remaining. Right, okay. Guess you can... No, wait, didn't I put some other buff on? Oh, I put Luck Crest on you. Okay, I guess I can do that. Not that I really need it right now, but it can be a thing. Pretty sure Chaos Brand doesn't work, but Phantom Pain might actually be not a bad idea. I've never actually shown that before, so I guess I'll do that. And then you're going to go for... I know now Shadow Spear has less delay on it than... I wonder if this on a crit turn will actually finish you. But yeah, has less delay on it than Soul Blur. Phantom Pain looks pretty cool. And also creepy. Only strength down by 15% though. And also Chloe's Comfort can be good for lowering the defense of these things and the main boss as well, to help you take them out easier. Oh yeah, definitely a one-shot. And I guess... Actually, wait, no, you have, like, no HP left, so I think I can... Don't think I... Oh, no, Evil Eye EX will get you both. Okay, I think that gets rid of the other tank. There we go, okay. So now it's just Kevin himself, and, well, Fake Kevin. And with just Fake Kevin, things actually, yeah, aren't that bad at all, especially with how fast we are due to our buffs. In fact, you can go ahead and debuff your defense by 30%. In fact, we might actually see something here. Yeah, so Stampede knocks back enemies a ridiculous amount, which can be a bad thing if you're using physical attackers, because, yeah, you'll be kind of out of range of them for a while. I suppose... Actually, no, Flare Arrow will probably do more. Yeah, he still has most of his health left, so, yeah, this is going to take a little bit to eat through. And, yeah, Chloe doesn't actually have anything that... Because Blue Impact got nerfed since, the earlier Sky games, I keep saying. Flare Arrow now does more. Of course, Blue Impact with Chloe's ridiculous ATS stat is still going to do stupid amounts of damage. Can I basically just ream you? Okay, I'm going to try and ream this guy to use a person's name as a verb here. This is going to be hilarious if I do actually get this to work, but, yeah. I did say earlier that delay isn't as abusable in this game, compared to Cold Steel, but, I mean, it can be sometimes, as you're seeing here. And, yep, he's, down, and he's gone into, this form. And, wow, that damage is tiny. Do I have... No, I don't have anything. I mean, as a Kevimort, it really can't do anything at all. It'll just ineffectually hit you and then for barely anything and kind of drain your CP and EP, but yeah. The fight's basically over once he ends up in that form. So, okay, I got 2 crit turns at the start of that. That was probably the difficulty ruined due to luck. I might do a retake of that fight, just a little bit, just to show what it can do. But yeah, both routes have a ceiling stone, and I just noticed Reese says "oh" a lot. It looks like that's the end of this trial, at least. I really wasn't expecting that to be a fiend disguised as Kevin, though. True, I wasn't... Oh, again. Reese? Are you alright? You weren't hurt, were you? I'm fine. I was just so relieved to find out that it wasn't really Kevin. And now that the fight is over, it seems clear to me that that battle was a trap set by our foes. Those bizarre cannon fiends are further evidence. Let's hurry through that door. I'm quite concerned about the other group. Sure. She must have been so worried about him, huh? I like that. That's just kind of a nice indication that, you know, she actually really does care about Kevin. And I guess we'll find out where the 2 paths meet up. Reese! Thank goodness. Phew, yep, you're the real deal, alright. Thank Adios, I was worried as hell about you, you know. I could say the same to you. Still, it looks like those really must have been Grimoires then. Sure does. Grimoires? Is that the name of those fiends we encountered? You got it, it's a type of fiend mentioned in the Testaments. Although maybe fiend isn't the best word, they're said to be what souls eventually turn into after being thrown into Gehenna. People's souls turn into those? That's not a very pleasant thought. As I'm sure you know, the church teaches that the souls of sinners end up in the fiery depths of Gehenna. There they are tormented by the ceaseless flames, slowly losing their own sense of self over time. Till finally they're said to end up as nothing more than a chaotic lump of spirit known as a Grimoire. I'm getting goosebumps just picturing it. And that's what those shape-shifting creatures we encountered were? Yes. The mirrors and cannons that appear with them are all cursed items that have the same origin. How they did it, I don't know, but it seems our enemies have quite literally opened the gates of Gehenna. That's quite a fitting metaphor. That sounds like... Now, which one of them is it? Ah, it's this one. You again. Well, look who decided to show their ugly mug. Did that lord of yours send you to come check up on us? That is one of the roles I have been assigned, albeit not the only one. I am impressed by how quickly you've progressed, even if it was with a significant amount of the Hermit's guidance. The Hermit? Who's that? The ghost we keep running into? I can't think of anyone else. She's been helping us in various ways since we arrived here, and yet we still have no idea who she is. Indeed, I speak of her. She is a spirit that was left behind in Phantasma, as well as the master of the Hollow Garden. Of course, thanks to my lord taking most of her power, she can do little other than struggle as your guide. As usual, your cryptic nonsense just goes right over my head. But hey, if she's your enemy, that makes her our ally, right? I'll leave that for you to find out. Her position is hardly your concern at this time. I have a message for you from my lord. Your next destination is the Path of Beasts. Devour the new offerings presented to you, and display your seal once more. Then shall the flames of Gehenna burn ever fiercer, and my kingdom draw closer to its true completion. What? What is that supposed to mean? My lord says that you may choose to interpret the message however you see fit. My task was simply to relay it to you. Kevin? Sorry, I couldn't help but laugh. Tell me, what sad class did you and that joke of a boss you got take to get your certifications in how to be a big bad? Nice touch trying to confuse us by spewing that cryptic bullshit too. Bet you thought we'd keep ourselves up all night trying to figure that gem out. I mean, the overblown theatrics make it a bit too obvious that it's fake, don't you think? Well, you about done with us? If you are, how about you get lost? We've got better things to do with our time than listen to nonsensical riddles from a guy who can't even bother to show his face. I see you're quite fond of the gift granted to you by my lord. Does it bring back memories? Gift? Kevin? You think you can get away? Fear not. We'll encounter one another again before long. I am, after all, Phantasma's foremost guardian. And with that, I bid you farewell, not adieu, because I've been playing a lot of Neo The World Ends with you lately. So that's the Schwarzritter you mentioned. Heh, he's the picture of his lord, right down to taunting us as he leaves. Too bad for him that it doesn't take a genius to work out they're both bluffing. Your next destination is the Path of Beasts. Devour the new offering presented to you and display your seal once more. I misread that as display your zeal once more when I first played this, which I almost feel makes more sense. Then shall the flames of Gehenna burn ever fiercer, and my kingdom draw closer to its true completion. His words sound as though they have some specific meaning to me, but they could be taken in a number of ways at face value. We could try to unravel said meaning, but that may hinder our progress more than help in the long run. My thoughts exactly. Anyway, what's definitely not going to hinder us is going back to base and seeing who's in the 2 sealing stones we picked up. If we activate that monument over there, we'll be able to come right back here to continue exploring later, too. Thank goodness it's right there, huh? I wonder who's going to be inside these. And that is the end of Chapter 3, Golden Road, Silver Road. A very short chapter overall, but honestly I like it. It's definitely one of my favourite dungeons so far in the series. Just the fact that you're forced to use every party member, and there's a lot of different possible combinations you can use. There's 2 boss fights at the end that kind of test you in different ways, and I actually feel really regretful about those 2 crit turns. Like, it's kind of a thing that sometimes happens when, you know, you accidentally make a fight that is hard look easy, and you have to go, I swear that's hard, guys. I had a problem with that with the sleeping table back in Persona 3. But, like, seriously, that fight is no joke at all. Like, it is incredibly brutal, and now I wonder if I should actually reload my Nightmare file, and if I have it, and see if I can do that fight on Nightmare. Okay, no crit turns at the start this time, so let's see how this ends up going. Yep, there's Grail Sphere. He normally uses that at the beginning. So as I said, I can get rid of the Grail Sphere by using a full field S-Craft like the Bobcat. Well, one Grail Sphere at least. Yeah, we do have the double Earth Wall and everything. The good news is Clockdown does penetrate the guard. Yeah, that damage on Chloe is with a defense buff. Yeah, if I put Ariel there, maybe? Okay, so now all of them are fully unguarded. And that'll remove the remaining guards. Do a bit of damage to the others too. Yeah, as I probably showed before, Fake Kevin isn't really a huge threat here. It's more just the sheer number of these things. You really, really want to thin their numbers. Of course, knocking them back with Josette can be useful too. I didn't actually realize that they could be knocked back by that. Oh yeah, there's also a Hellish Cannon, which I believe can inflict faints. And they also have a ram attack that I think can inflict instant death as well. I know that these things show up in a later Trails game, and they definitely can inflict instant death there. I also want to try something. If a strength buff on Chloe actually affects Sanctus Nova, it probably doesn't, but I just kind of want to see. So how many of... I can get everything in Sanctus Nova. Okay, great. And now hit everything with Black Fang. Yeah, that takes all of those out except one. Then I kind of wanted to try Heavenly Strike. Okay, that last one is not gone just yet, but it should be soon. There we go! Okay, and yeah, so sometimes I like to spam area S-crafts just to get rid of all of the Death Sluggers, because they are the real, like, and from now on I can probably do the exact same strat that I did in the first attempt. The real threat of this fight is more just the sheer numbers of the Death Sluggers. They're not really that bad on their own, but when all of them are shooting at you at once, and especially with Grail Sphere making them hard to take down, this can become a very dangerous fight. But now it's been done a second time. So yeah, with that, I will leave you and I'll see you again for the start of Chapter 4, but not entirely, because next time is going to be what I like to call Dora-palooza. There is going to be at least 4 doors that I will do before we enter the next chapter. One of which I might end up putting off until later, depending on how strong we are, but the remaining 3 will definitely be done, and one of them is Moon Door 3, which is incredibly long, so yeah, next time, a lot of doors, and then after that, we'll be proceeding to the 4th plane, so see you all then.